Welcome back to this episode of the Social Media Magic Podcast. My name is Brittany Verlenich. I'm a content strategist, social media manager, total marketing nerd, and really, I should just say online business nerd because I love all of this stuff. And the more that time goes on, it becomes true that everything is connected. I'm actually talking about that at the 2026 Spring Fling Conference. So I'll make sure to put that link to register down in the description. It's free if you come that weekend, March 27th through 29th. And I'm going to be talking about the new era of digital marketing, how things have changed over the last 10 years, but especially since 2020 with everything that happened then and with TikTok. I just have so much. It's literally a marketing masterclass. And I've even included some case studies in there from my own brands that I've built, clients that I've worked with. I actually have another bundle, by the way. I have this Google Doc. It's an ever-growing bundle, really, of all these different case studies I've done that I'm doing on my own projects, that I've done for clients, that I have just seen other people do. I love sharing all my observations in there. So if you want that, just go to my profile on Instagram, Brittany Verlenich. I'll be sure to put the QR code up on here in case you're watching this on YouTube. And if you act like you're going to take a picture, point it to the QR code, you will go straight to my profile. DM me the word CASE1, CASE1, or even just case studies. The whole two words together, CASE STUDIES. I was actually recording the presentation and I thought of that idea and I was like, okay, case studies is going to be so annoying. So I shortened it down to CASE1, but either one of those chat funnels should work when you DM me. So when you do that, you're going to get a link to opt in for my case studies bundle so you can see all the nerdy stuff behind the scenes. I think it's so fun to be able to break that stuff down. And by the way, if you do like that, you should also check out an episode a few episodes back where I broke down what 3 TPT sellers are doing really well right now, especially on YouTube. So if you're interested in growing on YouTube, or if you're a TPT seller specifically, meaning you have a store on Teachers Pay Teachers and that's a core focus of yours, and you should definitely go check that one out. And I would definitely watch the video version of that on YouTube or Spotify. But Spotify I find is so small. If you're watching on your phone, go watch that on YouTube, on your TV, or on a desktop. So related to this whole idea that everything is interconnected, that marketing and online business, nothing exists in a vacuum, right? Social media, SEO, search, your newsletter, your email list, all of it is connected. That's why I think I would always get so frustrated when I would hear people say, and I still hear people say, social media doesn't work. It's not worth your time. Just do SEO. Okay, well, that's great until SEO doesn't work anymore, or until it doesn't work the way you expected it. Ask anybody who was SEO heavy on TPT since, let's say, 2012, right? The golden era and golden age of SEO. Ask anybody who's been on TPT for a while, who's had a website on Google for a while, where they relied heavily or maybe even exclusively on Google traffic, or ask anyone who really relied heavily or exclusively on Pinterest traffic. Ask how that's gone for them, okay? I am not saying Google is bad. I love Google. I leverage Google. I love Pinterest. I leverage Pinterest. But you cannot expect to put all of your eggs in one basket for anything and have it work out, especially when everything is so interconnected. I would say even now more than ever, okay? Everything works together. Everything needs each other. You need social media. You need search. You need partners, you need referrals, you need collaborations. I would recommend to be speaking at summits and bundles depending on what your business model is. It all works together, okay? But one question that comes up a lot is, should I build a personal brand or should I just go all in with my store brand? Now, I'm going to make that one a separate episode where I really dive deeply into that question because I have some thoughts. But before we answer that question, and usually when I'm talking to either a potential social media management client or someone who's in one of my masterminds or a student in one of my courses or programs or memberships, I have like a prerequisite question that I ask them to answer first. They need to know the answer to this before I can give them any other advice or give them any other plan even. What kind of business are you building? By this question, I don't mean business model, right? I have worked with digital e-commerce businesses, so people focusing on TPT, Amazon, and Etsy. I have worked with fellow service providers, so freelancers, other social media managers. I work with loads of travel agents. Check out my Travel Agent Haven YouTube channel if that's you. I have worked with so many different business models at this point. I've worked with doctors, I've worked with naturopathic healers, all of that to say that yes, there are certain platforms, channels, and strategies and tactics that work better for certain business models more than others. And that's another question that I would ask you if we were working together. But before even that, what kind of business are you building? And what I mean by that is, what are your plans to do with the business itself? Here's what I mean by that. I was talking recently with one of my clients who I manage her podcast and I do some other things for her. I manage her blog. I write blog content for her. I help with her launches. I'm like her go-to gal, right? Secondhand person. So for that, she is in a bit of a conundrum because she has this amazing, stellar personal brand that she has taken so much time and energy and effort and even put money into building these last several years. And I think that's great. Preview to the other episode, I think everybody already has a personal brand, but also I think it's important for you to cultivate and develop and invest in your personal brand because not just of what you're building right now, but whatever you might want to build in the future. So there's that. But the hard part about this particular person and what she's building is she wants to be able to eventually sell the business that she has and move on from that and go on to the next stage of her life. And while I do think she'll be able to do that eventually, she has a problem because even though she's built up a separate brand that isn't really her, right? Like she has her own personal brand and then she has this brand over here. But the problem that she has is that the brand she's built up is connected to her personal brand, right? People want her. They love her. They think she's so smart, and she is. She has accomplished some incredible things. She is her own and her first and her best case study of what she's been able to do and accomplish. And she talks about all of that on her podcast, on her blog, in her content. And of course, she's also doing a good job transitioning it, right? We're getting other people who are creating content that are not just her. We have so many case studies for her methods that have worked, for her unique IP, intellectual property. She has her own methods and process and all that. But there is a little bit of that personal human magic that comes from her that is very hard to duplicate, right? Even if she ends up selling, because she has an education business, so she has a signature course, she has some memberships. If and when she sells that, which I do believe she'll be able to, she is possibly, hopefully not, but possibly going to have some trouble separating her personal brand from that. At least that's what we're trying to figure out right now, is how can we prepare her for that future sale to go well? And I know that some people are going to hear this and think, what? Selling my business? Why would I do that? Like, I'm putting all this energy and effort into it right now just so I can make some actual money from it, just so I don't feel like I'm losing money on it every month. I get it. Everybody's at a different place. I always keep that in mind when you're listening to these episodes, but I do think it's a really good idea for you to look forward to the future and really think about this. Are you building a lifestyle business, a Launchpad business, or a legacy business? They are three very different things, and let me just go over them with you. Almost like a Cosmo quiz, you can kind of ask yourself, which of these do I have right now? Which one have I been building compared to which one I want to have? And then what's the gap there? So let's talk about a lifestyle business first. This is what I find most personal brands have, which means for me, for example, Brittany Verlenich, right? My brand is very much tied to my lifestyle. At least this one is. Brittany Verlenich, I can't really go sell my name without me being a part of it. Maybe in the future, and I don't have a huge brand, at least as of when I'm recording this. That could be different by the time you watch or listen to this. I don't know. But let's just say in the future, if I try to sell my media company, that's another reason why I have been also building up Verity Media separately from Brittany Verlenich, because I did have in mind that I want to be able to build up an agency to the point that if I didn't want to do this job anymore, or if I couldn't, what if I have a baby and I have complications, or my health, or what if I die, right? Like, I'm going to die eventually. Sorry to get morbid there, but all of these things are going to happen. So I need to keep in mind that my lifestyle business can only be as good as me, right? Like, if I am not actively creating content, if I am not actively investing in it, if I'm not doing lead gen and sales or connections or collaborations or networking, then it's not going to do well unless and until I have somebody to come up and take my place, or unless I decide to rebrand or repackage it or whatever. Like, it's going to morph and evolve over time. But a lifestyle business is dependent on you, but that's not bad. There are upsides to that. Maybe you want to keep it small. You want to keep things simple. You want to be a solopreneur. You already know, or at least you think right now, because things could change, right? That you don't really want to have a big team. You don't want to deal with hiring in-person staff. You don't really want to be a leader. You don't want to be a manager either. You just want to do your thing. You love creating. Maybe you also like creating content. You like working with brands, maybe, or you're open to that. And you're just going to do this. I don't know. Maybe this is just going to be your career for 5 years. You might want to go on and do something else. And then if and when you do that, this brand will die with you ending the business. And there's nothing wrong with that. I want to emphasize that, because maybe that is all you want or need. And it's just there to be a means to an end. Maybe you're going to pay off some debt, and then when you do that, bye, I'm done. Or maybe you have a certain financial goal, or maybe you're part of the FIRE community, financially independent, retire early, right? And you're like, when I hit this milestone, I want to be on a beach and I don't want to do anything. That's totally fine. Or maybe even the reason that you have your lifestyle business is not actually because you need the money or because you need any of the perks that come with it or that you need the clients and the products and all that. It's because of something else it gives you. I can't tell you how many times I've helped someone become a travel agent in that business. I talk about Travel Agent Haven, that the answer they give me, they're either recently retired or they're going to be retiring soon, and they say, I want a hobby job. It's so funny because I've heard that exact phrase come up so frequently, and I'm like, that's interesting. I'm going to write that down. And what they're saying is, making money is actually not my core objective, which I know some of us will hear that and go, what? But if you ask yourself that, it might not be your core objective or your primary focus either. Maybe they just want to travel more, so they want the perks and the discounts and the rates for themselves. That's one reason someone might become a travel agent, for example. For you, maybe you're doing TPT hopefully to make money, but you're also a creator. You're a creative person. So you're like, actually, my main goal here is to create. If I make extra money, that's great. I don't need to make $10,000 a month. If I do, that's great. This is a lifestyle business. I'm going to do it as long as I enjoy it, as long as I can enjoy it. I have no intentions of selling it. I have no intentions of doing anything else, at least in the foreseeable future. If that is you, you have a lifestyle business. And the upsides of that are it's usually simple. It's usually low cost, low barrier to entry. You don't have to pay hundreds or thousands of dollars a year for licenses. I mean, you could also have a large lifestyle business to maybe where it grows, but it's a different mindset, right? You're not really thinking about growing and scaling, at least not right now. You are just growing as a person and creating offers that make sense for that. And so also likely your offers are going to evolve over time based on you and your personality and your stage of life and your priorities. Now we have the Launchpad business. A Launchpad business could start as a lifestyle business. I mean, we can look at so many celebrities or creators or influencers that started by creating content, right? Maybe they grew a following on YouTube, or they started with TikTok or Instagram and they were making some money from brand deals here and there. Maybe they were making some money from affiliate marketing. Maybe they even were in MLM or network marketing or something like that. And they got to a point where that was actually pretty successful. They had a decision to make at some point, right? Am I going to either stop the growth and keep this simple and a small enough scale to where I can actually keep going like this and enjoy my life and just keep doing what I'm doing, right? Like, I don't want to make this complicated. I want to keep it simple and I want to just make money and have a good time. Again, nothing wrong with that. It's great. I love it. Okay. So that's one way, is a lifestyle business, but they might make the other decision and say, actually, no, I want to see how far I can take this thing. I might want to scale it up. I don't know where this company, because again, it goes from really having a personal brand to then creating a company. I don't know where this is going to be in 10, 15, 20 years, but I want to try. I want to see what happens. I want to build it up to the point where if I wanted to sell it, I could. And I often advise TPT sellers when they work with me to be thinking about this. Actually, the presentation that I did for Spring Fling is all about the new era we're entering of multimodal marketing and search everywhere and social search, and how that really requires for you thinking about your company and the brand that you're building in a different way. And I make the argument, I guess you could say, it's not really an argument. I'm not here to convince you. I want to convince you in a way, but also I don't care if you really think this, so it's fine. But I believe this is true, that every single business owner should also have a media company. And for some people, this is going to look like a personal brand lifestyle business, that they are the company in a way. For others, they're going to build a personal lifestyle brand or business alongside a separate brand or company, like my other client that I was mentioning earlier. And so over time, this is going to change and grow with them, but their company that they're building is separate. One example that comes to my mind is Kim Kardashian, and love her or hate her, she has a very strong personal brand, right? And that's why it's so strong, because you have a strong feeling, likely, not always, but either way, or you at least know her. So that's why you can tell she's been successful at that. But on top of what she's done with her personal brand, again, whether you like her or not, she's also a very accomplished businesswoman. Look at what she's done with Skims. By the way, I just now realized that name has Kim in it. I never really paid attention to that before. That's clever. You can't deny that she's been successful. The partnerships that she's had, I want to say she just partnered with, was it Patagonia or Nike? I can't remember, but I remember being like, whoa, that's a big brand. So she's doing a lot. She actually got invited to go speak at Harvard. That's no small feat, right? Like, she has accomplished a lot, and she's done that because she built up her personal lifestyle brand, Kim Kardashian Kardashian and at one point decided, I want to get into products. And so many celebrities and influencers have done this, right? I think of Paris Hilton. I think of Hilary Duff. I think of Rihanna. Rihanna with her makeup line, Fenty. Fenty is its own proper brand, right? So she used the personal lifestyle brand that she built up over time as an artist and the audience she garnered and built from that, the following, really a fan following, and then created a brand. So now she can, if she wants to, fade into oblivion and it's fine. She will still make money. So this is a lesson in itself. She took what she learned from building up her personal brand, made investments and things like that. But then also she has this other brand, this separate company. So God forbid something happens to her or she gets canceled socially, she still has money from this over here. Okay. So I would say in that case, what she built as her personal lifestyle brand as a music artist was a Launchpad business. She built it up so that she could create a community, grow an audience, and build an email list, or I should say just following a fan base, so that when she was ready to launch something else, her next thing, Fenty, she had the clientele, the customer base, the distribution to do that. And your TPT store might be that for you. Your service providing business, your Fiverr business, your offerings might be that. This might not be what you want to do for the rest of your life or even 10 years from now. It's wild to think this, but as of when I'm recording this, I have been in the online business game for almost 10 years. And I will say I definitely want different things from my life than when I was in my mid-20s because I'm a different person now. I've learned and grown a lot. At least I should hope so. My priorities are different. My beliefs in some things, I have different, stronger convictions. This is likely going to happen with you over time too. And you have to decide, do I want to keep the same lifestyle even? Do I have the same lifestyle? Will I have the same lifestyle that I do now? And is that critical into selling the product or business or service that I have? So you might also want to decide, okay, I'm going to make sure that I have a strong personal brand. So whether I decide to go into a different job or career or a different path, a different field, that personal brand will be able to carry me over because I do believe we all have one. I mean, if you want to go apply for a job today, you need to have a profile on LinkedIn, right? Like people are going to look, so you need to have something good for them to find. So I believe in having a strong personal brand for that reason, if nothing else, for multiple reasons. But you also want to think about, okay, am I going to build a separate Launchpad business? If so, I need to have a brand separate from me. And then the third type of business is a legacy business. And this is a type of business that we think of that's still standing the test of time 10, 20, 40 years later. I think of Coca-Cola. I think of IBM. Ironically, I even kind of think of Google, even though Google's really not that old. They started in like, what, the 2000s? But so much has happened since then. I mean, they are definitely an established business. They're a household name. We think of Google when we think of search. It's like thinking of Kleenex for tissues, right? So with a legacy business, this is a proper company. And do you even know who founded Google? Maybe you do. Do you know who founded IBM? Do you know who founded Coca-Cola? You may or may not know those things. But that just again speaks to the power of the founder, the person who started this. They had a strong personal brand at some point when they were alive, if they're no longer alive, and they had to build up a team of A players to be able to accomplish the things that they had the vision set forth to do, right? To be able to make a company that stands a test of time like that, you do need to have a certain something about you or to build it up over time. So they had a personal brand and they might have even decided to build a brand and company set apart from them, but also with the mind of, oh no, this is going to outlast. This is going to be generations. That's why I say legacy business. It's something you could possibly pass on to your children or that somebody else could come up and take and grow and run with. So I would urge you to think about that. Which are you building? Are you building a solopreneur lifestyle business that will change and grow with you? Are you building up a Launchpad business that you could sell and move on from? Or are you building a legacy business that will outlast you and possibly live for generations? I will say that third one is very rare. It's usually a once in a lifetime kind of thing, but you never know. And I just want you to think about that because depending on which path you choose, what kind of business you have, / where you want to be and what you want to have, your media company strategy will be different. The platforms you might choose will be different. For example, writing a book, that's pretty timeless. We've had books for thousands of years, right? So you might decide that writing a book is a better use of your time than building up a TikTok following. Or you might decide that right now I'm going to build my lifestyle business. I'm going to build it up on TikTok so that I do have the following, the community, the distribution for when I am ready to launch a book, right? Because even if you decide that you're going to launch a legacy business, you've got to start somewhere. And I would argue that's by starting your personal brand. So we all start over here with a lifestyle business at some point, and then we have to decide what's it going to be. You could even argue that building an app is a lifestyle business because it depends so much on you and your nurturing of it when you're first getting it started. Thank you so much for watching or listening to this episode of the Social Media Magic Podcast. I really hope that this challenged you to think about your goals in life, your business, the company you're building, the brand you're building. If you have any questions about this, or if you just want to see those case studies, you can send me a DM on Instagram over at Brittany Verlenich. Send me a DM case1, CASE1 for that bundle of case studies, that ever-growing bundle of case studies if you're interested in that stuff. And definitely check the episode description or the video description if you're watching on YouTube for that link to come join us at the Spring Fling Conference. It's for teacher business owners, but honestly, all online business owners who are interested in growth at this point. And there's going to be speakers speaking on beginner stuff, intermediate, advanced level stuff. I definitely recommend if you're a TPT seller to go, because you do need to be exposed to the greater online business world so that you're not just hearing from TPT coaches, because I love TPT coaches. Like, they're my friends and my clients, but you need to have different perspectives on things, and you need to hear and see what's worked in other niches and for different business models so that you can get ideas for what will work with yours. Because if you're only with other TPTers listening to the same TPT coaches, you're all going to be doing the same things, and you are going to be lost in a sea of sameness, and I don't want that for you. So thanks again. Come find and follow me. I'm Brittany Verlenich pretty much everywhere for this brand. And if you would like to work on this stuff, I have some openings starting in April for one-on-one social media management client work, as well as strategy coaching, and the Evergreen Content Engine will be relaunching with new content because I've learned so much from last year. Oh my gosh, in April. So if you know that you want to have a YouTube channel that drives traffic to your products, that makes money for you, by the way, that literally pays you to grow your email list, which is just amazing, then you want to join us in the Evergreen Content Engine. There will be a live round, so live group coaching along with the course content. So more information will be coming out soon on that. And you can always find all the other stuff I offer in the episode description and video description below. Thanks again for being here, and hopefully you'll hear me soon on the next episode. If you haven't already, by the way, be sure to like this, follow on whatever platform you're watching or listening, and if you're on YouTube, subscribe. It really does help the channel, and I'm going to be working with some brand sponsors and partners soon, and I want to make sure it's absolutely worth it for them. So thanks in advance for doing that. Talk soon.